please, this is a moment to, really gather as online community here and be together in this way and really invoking the goddess presence within us and to celebrate Naropa's 50th anniversary and really have the theme of from roots to branches. And when I think of roots, I think of the deep-rooted, the banyan tree or the sacred fig tree in India, an example of the tree that Buddha himself sat under, and with all of its vines and branches spreading all over. If you've seen the movie Avatar, you know what that tree looks like. It's actually real. And I used to clamber up and run on those branches and hang by those vines and, hop from tree to tree. I mean, it is incredible using that as a metaphor for us that these Eastern traditions, that are rooted, India, Tibet, Nepal, Sikkim, Bhutan, all of those areas that have come here to Naropa as a micro crucible, celebrating in the Rocky Mountains here, but bringing that flavor, that taste, that aroma, and to be grounded in that, to be grounded in the roots of ancient transmission, and at the same time allowing that earth element to rise up through water, through fire, through air, and into space, and seeing those branches just going through all space into all cultures as the transmission has spread and rerouted itself, just like the banyan tree does, rerouted itself. And new transmissions are happening now, and I have been part of that stream. I came from India in 1975 as a graduate student of chemistry and went into atmospheric sciences, which was an interdisciplinary engineering program at Ohio State, and then into environmental education, and continued to hold those scientific perspectives and bring them into spirituality, bring them into the ancient transmissions. I come from a family of spiritual teachers and yogis in India. And so I hold this unique place of having one leg in the roots and one leg in the branches. I'm in both. And Naropa has been such a wonderful crucible for me to explore the integration of the two. What can I bring from the ancient transmission that I have received from my elders and my own upbringing? And what can I transmit to Western seekers here, especially our young minds at Naropa? And in that transmission, how does it impact those who receive, and how does it impact me as being in that line of transmission? So on one of my visits back home, when my father was still alive, and he was a giant spiritual teacher for 60 years, one of my very last visits to India when he was alive about 12 years ago, he sat me down in front of a big audience, put his hands up on my crown chakra and gave me a transmission with mantras. And you're going to learn that mantra today. And he said, may you continue to grow in your wisdom as you share in the West. May you be a beacon of this light and wisdom from the East and integrate with the West. And it was an enormous blessing for me. And so I'm happy to share a tiny slice of that. The goddess tradition in India, going back as far back as the Indus Valley civilization, which was probably as early as 3,500 BC, 3,000 BC, 2,500 BC, and slowly that yielded to what we then call the Vedic age. And after that came the Upanishad age, and that's about when Buddhism, at least Lord Buddha was alive, and much later comes Tantra, and the Buddhist stream that came to the West through Tibet, that we call Vajrayana, and that's at Naropa. That is part of the Tantric transmission. And for me, I wanted to introduce you to the goddess transmission here because we've just completed 10 days of a beautiful fall goddess festival from India called Navaratri. And I'll share my slides first before we go into some practices. So this Navaratri, Nava means 9, Ratri means night. So the 9 nights. The festival began with this last new moon we had, which is dedicated to the ancestors, and then the first night begins on the first glimmer, the first night of the waxing moon, and we just completed the 9 nights, and so as the great goddess and celebrated in the goddess traditions of India, which has been unbroken. It's the only civilization in the world where we have an unbroken tradition of the goddess going back to about 3000 BC, to Kali and Durga, who were carved in the seals that continue to be excavated in the northwest area of both Pakistan and India in ancient riverbeds. So it goes back as far as that. And here, so here she is. And we have a goddess epic in Sanskrit, about 700 verses from the 6th century. And some of you may know about the 2 other epics of India, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. But those are about 2 different kings, Rama and Krishna. But this is about the goddess. And as the goddess presence within us, she's called Shakti. So say that word after me, Shakti. Shakti. If one of you will unmute yourself so I can hear you. Shakti.
Shakti.
Shakti. So Shakti means the power of manifestation. So the power of manifesting what? Consciousness. So consciousness in this tradition is called Shiva. And the manifesting power of consciousness is called Shakti. The power to manifest, the power of action. And the great goddess, as Durga, was called upon by all the male deities in this mythology of the goddess and in this epic. And we're going to chant a few verses from this epic. So here you see the water buffalo demon, which represents within us the power of distraction, how the ego inflates itself. And this demon could shapeshift and keep attacking whoever came to kill him off. And ultimately, he was unconquerable. So the male deities gave all of their weapons and created this beautiful female goddess. And as the goddess presence in this particular epic, she is Durga. Durga means the fortress, so she who protects and shields the devotees. And so she's given many weapons. So you see her sword, you see Shiva's trident here. And she finally, in the battle, is able to pin down the demon and knock off his head. So our various negative emotions, our afflictions, that is anything any tendencies within us. So right now, if you'll pause and think of any tendency within you that is obvious to you, that has made itself visible, where from the deep unconscious, something has come to the subconscious and is now revealing itself every now and then. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I did that. Or I didn't know I use such rude speech. Or I didn't know I could still be hating someone. Whatever it is, allow one tendency to come up, some habit to come up that you know within you want to overcome, you want to dissolve. And this is the moment to call on the goddess presence within us. Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om. Repeat after me. Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om. Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om. So in the goddess visualization of inviting her into our navel chakra. Durga is the goddess of fire, and fire represents action, to activate. Our navel chakra is the element of fire. And so to activate within us, to have the support within us, to have the courage within us, to call on the goddess presence, that manifesting power of consciousness, to chop off all that doesn't serve. So just visualize all around you, flashing swords in your force field, in the field around you, just chopping up all that doesn't serve. I release all that that does not serve me. And if we go further down into just taking so in these last 9 nights, there will be festivals and altars, and we had over 1 billion people out on the streets of India, walking in procession with images of Goddess Durga. And you see her here again. And there, since she's made of ceramic, then finally of mud. So on the 10th day, it's called the Day of Victory, she is taken to the nearest flowing body of water and given back to Mother Earth, since she is from the elements of the planet, and so are we. So we are made of all these 5 elements: earth, fire, air, water, and space. And so that is represented in the worship of the goddess during this time. And she also has within her the 3 aspects of the universe: creation, preservation, and dissolution. Just like within us, we are creating our sense of self, which is temporary, which is an illusion, but then we maintain it and preserve it. And in our spiritual journey, we are finally asked to dissolve that sense of separate self. So creation, preservation, dissolution. This is the essential triad of Tantric practice, to recognize these 3 forces within us. Take any random thought that you might be having. It's created, it's preserved, and then it's released. So it's that same cycle that is honored in the goddess as well, her triadic cycle. Oops, how do I keep going down? I have to, this one. Yeah. So 3 aspects of the 3 wrathful aspects. This is a festival that brings up her wrath and her power to protect. So these flashing swords all around us is the power of protection. And so this is Kali in her most wrathful forms, where she's called Mahakali. And this is Lakshmi in her most wrathful form, called Mahalakshmi. And this is Saraswati in her most wrathful form, called Mahasaraswati. So these are otherwise very benevolent goddesses. And are you able to see my face also, or only the slides? Can someone answer?
We can see your face, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay. All right. Because the benevolent ones, so here's Lakshmi in her benevolent form. And here's Saraswati holding the veena or the lute in her benevolent form. But what we are seeing here are the wrathful forms. And that's what is called on for protection. And the goddesses and all deities are represented in both their benevolent forms and their wrathful forms. So here's Mahakali again in her wrathful form, dancing as the protective mother goddess, with Lord Shiva as her base, her support. The stillness of our being is Lord Shiva, and the activating aspect of consciousness is Goddess Kali. So here is her most cherished shrine in the Kolkata temple, where her 3 eyes are shown prominently, standing for our 3 states of awareness: sleeping, waking, and dreaming. And these are called the 3 lokas, or the 3 realms of consciousness, in which we have to release our sense of ego. We have to release our inner demons. We have to ask for the goddess to destroy those demons. This was my calendar back home in my room when I was growing up. And every day I would chant her name, Om Durgaye Namaha, Om Durgaye Namaha, Om Durgaye Namaha. And I would visualize, my mother would tell me, now visualize what you want to release today and use the flashing sword to cut that out of your psyche, remove it from your aura, remove it from your mental field, emotional field. So we got to do this as a practice, even as children, from this major epic, the Devi Mahatmya, the glory of the goddess. So the sword represents our ability to discern. So I'm hoping by now you have offered one tendency or one habit into that sword, the flashing swords all around you. Okay, I think that's enough for the... Oh, I wanted to show you. So my hometown where I was born, Mysore, a very tantric goddess kingdom, the kingdom of goddess Durga. And so you see the beautiful palace. It was in the ground floor of this palace that modern postural yoga was born by Sri Krishnamacharya, who would come there. And in the late 50s, early 60s, I would hold the hand of my granduncle and go there. My granduncle was a Vedic scholar, a Sanskrit scholar for the king of Mysore. And this was all soon after independence, 1947. And I was there mostly in the early 60s. And that was when modern postural yoga was developing in the palace, being taught to the royal family. And then from there, it spread to families like ours in Mysore, and then spread all over the world. So this is where they used to celebrate the goddess festival and still do. So see the altar set up in the palace, and this is what a goddess temple looks like with a spiral. This is the buffalo demon and being vanquished, and the dolls, all this, the little mud dolls are sold at this time that we buy for our own altars, and at the end, then they are given back to the river. Okay, so that's now we'll chant some of the mantras of the 5 elements that oops, and sketch. Okay, there we go. How do I bring this up some more? There we go. Now, can you see the whole hand here with all the... So if you put out your hand and in order to activate a shield, an energetic shield of the goddess to be with us as our goddess presence, protecting us, sheltering us, and activating our power to act. So this is a practice which we learn again when we were children. I mean, not everybody will know all these practices because these were kept only within Brahmin families who had a guru lineage. And now, as they have come to the West, as the roots have come to the West, the branching is happening in all directions. And I myself have trained a few hundred yoga teachers in 6 countries to teach these practices to people so that we can activate within us the power of the 5 elements and then activate the goddess presence within us to protect, shield, and guide us. So if you look at one of your hands, then close all fingers except your ring finger. So that represents the earth element. So in counting in ancient India, counting started with the ring finger and it went clockwise. So ring finger is 1, little finger is 2, the thumb is 3, index finger is 4, and the middle finger is 5. So again, 1, 2, 3, So index finger is now touching the thumb. So 3. And then you do the same gesture again for 4, because now it's the thumb touching the forefinger. So that's 4. And then the middle finger, 5. So go back to the ring finger. Earth, water, fire, air, and space. Oh, I missed one. Let's start again. Earth, ring finger to the thumb. Water, little finger to the thumb. Fire, index finger to the thumb. Then same one again. Then this takes us to the element of air, which is the index finger. And then the middle finger is space. So earth, let's start with the ring finger. Earth, water, fire, air, space. Again, do that. Earth, water, fire, air, and space. Now we add sounds to this, sacred seed sounds that are called bija mantras. Bija means seed. So representing the potency of any seed that will then sprout upwards into the branches and go downwards into the roots. So from roots to branches. The seed sounds of each element are, see, lam, repeat after me. A few of you can unmute. Lam.
Lam.
Good. That's the earth element. Then we move to the water element. Vam.
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 Now we move to the fire element. That is the thumb. Fire element. Ram.
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 Now we move our awareness to the index finger, representing the air element, and within us represents our breath, and in the atmosphere represents Vayu, or the wind, capable of, not only doing all of the seed pollination through wind, but also tornadoes and cyclones, the destruction. So there's creation, preservation, and destruction within every element, these 3 forces. And so yum,
Yum.
Yum.
yum,
Yum.
And then we go to the middle finger, the space element, that which expands endlessly and has within it the mantra of the sound of breath itself. Ha, ha, hum, hum, hum. Now, all 5, one after the other, and keeping track of your fingers, because in putting your attention to each finger in turn and holding the mudra means an activating gesture. An activating gesture that locks subtle energy into that gesture. So when we touch each finger in turn and we consciously link to that element within us, like I was saying, earth element, we think of the green earth, and at the same time we go into our own body, muscles, bones, flesh. All of that is part of the earth element within us. Lam.
Lam.
Now the water element. Think of all of the water on earth, the most common element, the oceans, the rivers, the waterfalls, and streams and brooks. At the same time, go into ourselves and think of the water element within us. All of the types of water within us, from blood to waste liquids and cellular fluids, all of the ways that we are nourished by water and cleansed by water. And now go into the fire element. The fire element, all of the aspects of fire outside So with this element, to be able to be thinking of the fire within us, the digestive fire, the fire of respiration, the fire of all excretion, so many subtle aspects of the fire element, which maintains our body temperature. So ram, ram,
Ram,
ram.
Ram,
Now bringing our hands to the air element. Wait a minute, we did the index finger. Yeah, index finger, air element, that which is a breath within us, that which is wind and air within outside of us. Confused. Yeah, we did the yum, 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 linking with our breath to the air around us. Yum, yum. And then finally to the space element, the middle finger. Hum, hum, hum. Not only our atmospheric space around us, 1 mile of atmosphere, but the outer space, endless expanding outer space. And then within us, beginning with visualizing our every cell is more than 40 to 50% empty space. It's called a vacuole. It's part of the parts of a cell. And that energetic space holds within it so many of the forces of life. So honoring all the spaces, the space occupied by our body, the volume of space of our body, to lovingly be nurtured by the space we occupy and all the spaces of our organs and all parts of the body and the cells, linking to that space element. Hum. And now let's do all of them one by one. We'll do them together. Earth element, lam, lam. Water element, vam, vam, vam. Fire element, the thumb, ram, 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 ram. And the same posture again, because now we're shifting our attention to the index finger with that. The air element, yum, 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 yum. And the space element, hum, hum, hum. Now for proper activation, the teacher who taught me this in India, a Tantric Pandit, he reminded me that the tips of our fingers and our palms all have chakras. I mean, there are chakras or worlds of energy, electromagnetic spiral energies and fields all through the body. We are one giant electromagnetic field. But the finger chakras are even more, they're stronger than our palm chakras. And that's why, our fingertips are so sensitive and have evolved to give us this extraordinary ability, the sense of touch. So they transmit the electromagnetic fields of each of the 5 elements. So if we massage our fingertips, starting from the base of the fingers and moving up, earth element, lam, water element, massage, vam, fire element, massage, ram, and the air element, massage, yum, now the space element, massage, hum, hum. Now bring all the fingertips together and we recite the mantra sequence 1 time to activate all these 5 elements within us. Lam, vam, ram, yam, Hum. Lam, vam, ram, yam, hum. One more time. Lam, vam, ram, yam, hum. Now your fingers are activated with the energetic imprint of the 5 elements within us, moving our awareness from the earth element, water element, fire element, air element, space element, through the 5 chakras of the body. And with this activated hands, we now can create a shield around us to invoke the goddess presence. So we make the shield by first bringing our thumbs to the base of the ring chakra, to the ring finger, and the fingers are all held tight. So this is called a weapon of virtue. A weapon of virtue. So this is a pranic energy expanded and heightened awareness of the 5 elements. And now we make a shield mudra. So first the right hand in that with the hands in that position. Right hand goes over the left shoulder and the left hand goes over the right shoulder. So I'm going to want to see some of you. So how do I get out of this?
Yeah, go to the right. And then go to that one. No.
This one.
No.
Okay, so your right hand is over this and your left hand like that. Beautiful. And remember, you're in the Tattva Mudra. So you should feel that pressure of the thumb at the base of the ring finger. And not like that, but all the fingers are together. So holding that, and within your heart chakra, within the space of the chest, visualizing the goddess presence any way you wish to, however you think of that manifesting Shakti, that power of consciousness, whether as Durga riding on her lion or any other form of the goddess presence that works for you. Invoking that, letting her descend to a warm ring of fire in your navel chakra, so in your whole lower belly, just a warm ring of golden fire, gentle activation. And she is occupying this whole space from the navel chakra up to the heart. And now we are going to chant her, the bija mantras for her in this position.
Yeah,
Let's see. Double click maybe. You're going to share it. You're going to.
It's already shared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can all see this?
Yeah.
So we just activated our hands. You're holding it in those hands, in that. So here's the Tattva Mudra, activating your hands. And now the main mantra in this position. So you'll repeat after me. Om, Aim, Hreem, Kleem. Om, Aim, Hreem, Kleem. Again. Om, Aim, Hreem, Kleem. Again. Om, Aim, Hreem, Kleem. So Om is invoking that supreme, ultimate reality, the source consciousness that transcends all sound, all conception. So that eternal reality is Om. And I'm the Bija mantra of wisdom Shakti, honoring Goddess Saraswati, she who brings the knowledge of the self and wisdom, honoring her. Then Hreem. Hreem is a Bija mantra of activation and transformation. This is associated with Durga, or Kali, or Mahalakshmi, the wrathful goddesses. So Hreem activates the ability within us to be prepared to take action. Claim. Claim is a blissful mantra. It's associated with both Kali and Lord Krishna. I'm Hreem Claim. I'm not going to do the rest of the mantra here to the goddess Chamunda, but it's sufficient to do the Om I'm Hreem Claim. And so again, make sure your hand in that position, the mudra position of the heart shield. This is called the heart shield mudra or the heart kavacha. Kavacha means shield. And we repeat this mantra, your feet to be firmly on the ground, or if you're in a chair, so your feet are flat on the ground, and if you're seated on the floor, then that's perfect as it is. So, and then using these three sounds, I'm, Hreem, Kleem, we repeat them to activate within us wisdom, abundance, and protection. And we rotate ourselves in three directions. We rotate, we go around ourselves 3 times as we are chanting this mantra. I'm Hreem Kleem, 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 I'm Hreem Kleem,
They try to stop.
I'm Hreem Kleem, 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 I'm Hreem Kleem. So this is the fullness of the activation of the heart shield done with our fingers, initially activated with the bija mantras of the 5 elements, lam, vam, ram, yam, and hum, and invoking within us the power to activate all of the 5 elements so that they may be purified in our connection to them, and invoking that goddess presence to come in and occupy our heart chakra and the navel chakra from the gentle warming fire radiating through the air and wind and space, radiating through us this goddess presence. Again, in this moment, as we have activated the goddess presence within us, and we have invoked this set of mantras, I'm, Hreem, Kleem, to call on the 3 aspects of the goddess: creation, preservation, and dissolution. Again, think of something in your life that you wish to create that is just in front of your visionary field, something you have been longing, something you're at Naropa for. What is it that you wish to manifest to bring that into this goddess presence in your charged field? What I wish to create is. Now think of something that's already wonderful in your life that you wish to preserve without a sense of attachment to it, to just simply relish something in your life being preserved. This sense of continuity of transmission that we have at Naropa, that is being preserved, no matter what the challenges are, no matter what demonic forces have come in the way. this continues to be preserved, the continuity of transmission from roots to branches. And now think of dissolution. What aspect of your life is there something, some stuck energy, something that's a nuisance, annoying? It might just be an item in your house that you wish to go donate to the thrift store or give it away. It might be something deeper, like something you've noticed about an attitude with your emotions. It's to have compassion for ourselves and ask for that to be released. Creation, preservation, dissolution. I'm Hreem Claim, calling on the goddesses, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Kali, and invoking within us. Feel that golden light now, just a strong golden light presence. So we'll chant a little bit as we keep establishing the goddess presence within us. And I know this did not come into my share screen, so I'm going to try one more time. So that goddess who is established in all things, she is established in all life. Our salutations to her. She who is manifested in all aspects of life, in all things, in all attributes, in all forms. So this hymn called Ya Devi, that goddess, is part of this goddess epic of India, which I just told you about, the 6th century epic of 700 verses. And there's about 28 verses dedicated to her in this particular format, which forms a hymn called She Who Is Unconquerable or Inconquerable. I don't know which is the correct word, but I'll just say unconquerable. So what is unconquerable within us? Our spirit, our spiritual essence, our drive and our longing to explore our own spiritual journey. That is unconquerable. That is eternal. That desire and that longing must be fed and nourished. So she who is the goddess presence within us and within the universe, she's honored in all positive and negative aspects. She's honored, for instance, as discernment, buddhi. She's honored as the power to act, Shakti. She's honored as peace, Shanti. She's honored as faith and discipline, as Shraddha. She's honored as abundance, as Lakshmi. And I have a couple more here. She's honored as compassion, Daya. She's honored as the mother, Matra. So these are only 7 verses out of the 28 verses of this hymn. And we'll just chant a couple of them. And the second verse is the same in all of them. And in the first verse, when it says, Ya Devi, that shining goddess, Sarva Bhuteshu, you who are established in all things, Buddhi Rupena, you who are in the form of Buddhi, form of discernment. That's why the title Buddha was given to him, he who is the master of Buddhi, the faculty of ultimate discernment. Samsthita, deeply established. O goddess, you who are deeply established within us as discernment, the power of discernment. Namaha tasyai, namaha tasyai, namaha tasyai, namaha, namaha. So the word namaha comes 5 times in slightly altered forms, and 5 times for the 5 elements, for the 5 dimensions of consciousness that we inhabit, which in yoga are called the 5 koshas. It's almost like 5 snakes, 5 layers of the snake skin, because a snake continues to shed throughout its life. And so 5 koshas. It's like our physical aspect, that's called Annamaya kosha. our subtle energy aspect, that's called pranamaya kosha. Our concrete sensory mental aspect, that's called manomaya kosha. Our higher mind discernment aspect, that's called vijnanamaya kosha. And then our blissful aspect, where the psychic impressions of past lifetimes are held as seeds. So Anandamaya kosha. So for the 5 koshas that our goddess presence inhabits, we honor her 5 times. Tasyai, tasyai, tasyai means to her. Salutations to her, salutations to her. Okay, now we're going to chant this, a little bit singing. And before we do that, I want you to release the energies in your hands, shake them out, do a little bit of clapping. Come back to feel the goddess presence within you in a gentle way. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhirupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Now I'll break it up into chunks. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu. I need at least one person to chant so I can hear. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhirupena Samstita Buddhirupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Second verse. Now, to own that power within us, that power to take action. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha
Namaste, Namaste,
Namastasyai Namo Namaha.
Namaste.
The last one that we'll do as peace, invoking her as peace within us. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ya
Devi
Sarvabhuteshu
Sarvabhuteshu
Shanti Rupena Samstita
Shanti
Rupena
Rupena
Samstita
Samstita
Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha Namastasyai
Namaste,
Namastasyai
Namaste,
Namastasyai
Namaste, Namo
Namo Namaha Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Beautiful. Now, if you can still see me, I have to come back to find all of you. Maybe do the stop share. Aha. I do stop share and I go to gallery view. Ah, now I see all of you. Beautiful. Oh, there's a couple of new people too. There's Therese, there's Gabrielle, there's Bella. Oh, very nice. So we'll pause here and just take a moment to get a few comments. I mean, this may be something you have never experienced before, but just what is it you feel right now as you've gone through this 5-element activation, the heart shield, chanting of the 3 mantras for the 3 aspects of the goddess, and linking that to within us, creation, preservation, dissolution. And then singing part of a hymn from the 6th century goddess epic. So anybody who feels moved to share a comment or ask a question at this stage, you're welcome to. Yes,
Thank
Heather.
you. Yes, thank you. I feel open. I can feel my heart open and connected to myself and just like the greater.
Yes. Yeah, in fact, tantra, the very word tantra, can mean a web of connectivity between ourselves as the microcosm of consciousness and the universe as the macrocosm of consciousness. So the web that links us in this embodied form to all that exists. And so the theologies and the practices and the frameworks, all of them together are called Tantra. Yeah, anyone else?
I felt,
After,
Yeah,
go
Joyce?
ahead, please.
Yeah.
I felt more in sync the more we chanted. I
Mm,
could feel myself like pairing with it more the more I said it out loud.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, we're so blessed in a small institution like Naropa. We have a very active and deep Sanskrit lineage. And I started a course way back when I first joined in 1998. I had a course called Sanskrit and Spiritual Traditions of India to really emphasize some of these sacred mantras and the metaphysics of these mantras, and also for singing, for the kirtan aspect. Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah. Anyone else? One more.
After working with the mudras,
Yes.
the tips of my fingers became sweaty.
Aha.
And then when we added the mantra with all of it, my whole hands became sweaty and my whole body is really hot right now.
Well, there's certainly activation going on for you. When I was initially learning these and practicing them for an hour or two, I had that same reaction. Everything would get sweaty and hot, and my teacher would keep telling me, release the energy, clear it, clap. Yeah, there you go. And then go wash your hands and wipe them dry and come back and start again. So it's a major way of an energetic detox. It's an energetic detox of the 5 elements. And so we may not exactly know what we are releasing, but we are being purified in all the 5 elements. And it's a wonderful practice to do and then journal afterwards to see what is it that is arising that needs to be invoked more in our life, that creation energy. What is it that in our life needs to be preserved? Often it might be a good practice we have just learned, but then we don't have the habit yet of practicing it. So we kind of let it slide. So what is it we wish to preserve? Maybe I tried getting up early one day and did my yoga, and then the next day it's gone. So can I come back to that? Can I preserve that? And then number 3, what is it that we wish to dissolve or release within us? So to keep on bringing these 3 issues, creation, preservation, dissolution, and keep doing the mudras. Remember, we start counting with the ring finger. It's earth, water, fire, the thumb is fire, and then the index finger is air. So it's the same mudra again, air, and then the last one, space. And as you practice doing these, the rest of the fingers must be straight vertical, and that will allow them to be charged with as little space between them as possible. And this is true even for the Namaste mudra. When we do Namaste, it should be tight, not loose like that. It should be tight. And if it's tight, then the energetic electromagnetic field of the chakras of our fingertips and our palms, they're all brought together. And this is actually a way of bringing the polarities of the two sides of our body. This is the right side of our body is controlled by the sympathetic nervous system. The left side is linked to the parasympathetic nervous system. The right side is called the solar side. The left side is called the lunar side. The right side is like fire and hot. The left side is like water and cool, solar, lunar. And that is the meaning of the word hatha yoga. Ha and ta. Ha represents the solar, the activating energy. Ta is the cooling, the moon energy. So both come together in Namaste. Tight, like that. Okay, very good. All right. Well, I have another song for you that we can do together. Yeah, I'm not able to bring it up. I'll just, it's small enough now. We're not gonna worry about that more. Let's see. Okay, no, I'm not able to bring it up, but oh yeah, you need a story before we close with a song. So one of the lovely stories I like about in this epic of Devi Mahatmya, the glory of the goddess, is there's a character there, a very wily demon who has the ability not only to shapeshift, but if he's attacked with a weapon and he sheds blood, then every time the blood touches the ground, he can clone himself through that drops of blood. So his name is Seeds of Blood. Rakta Bija. Rakta is blood. Bija is seed. So at Naropa had guided a dance drama in Sanskrit about 15 years ago, based on the adventures of Durga with these different demons. And so we had the poster itself as seeds of blood, showing red paint running down. And so as Durga was vanquishing demonic forces that her devotees called her upon to come and remove, this one character, this demon, she couldn't figure him out, because as all her army of sister goddesses came forward and they're chopping off the Raktabija, and he sheds blood, then there are the army of himself coming up again. So she had to figure out what to do. So she calls on Mahakali. She calls on the great goddess Kali, the ancient wrathful goddess Kali. She came rattling with all the skulls around her and all of the heads and arms of skirt, and she's holding a half skull of blood, and her long tongue is ready to taste life and taste blood. And she comes to see, what can I do? What shall I do? So Durga tells Kali, take care of this Raktabija, take care of this demon. We haven't figured out how to get to the core of that. Well, Kali observed with her large eyes, and she realized, I have to lick up the blood before it drops to the ground. That's all I have to do. So her long red tongue went all around him, and as the slashing of weapons is happening, she's picking up all the blood, and eventually she picks him up. And he's right at the tip of her red tongue. And as he gazes into her deep eyes, just filled with love, filled with bliss, and giving him unconditional grace and acceptance, in that moment, he becomes one with her. He becomes self-realized as she is swallowing him up. Such a beautiful story, and representing within us the capacity of the ego to multiply itself in the many dimensions of our life. So, and how we get fooled by that. For me, it's just about walking into a thrift store. I might tell myself, oh, I've just got to go get this one belt that I need. Oh, an hour later, I'm there and I'm into, oh, look at these paintings. Or I better check out those scarves over there. And so it's been an hour and I haven't yet found my belt. So the power of the distracted ego in multiple dimensions that brings us back into the earth chakra over and over again. It's like we have to come back to earth. And then the ego rises up in another way. Oh, you know, that person ignored you yesterday. Did you know that? You have to do something about that. Oh, back again, you take care of it. Well, it rises up again. Well, I'm not happy about the grade I got in class. Bum. So the many ways that each time the ego feeds on the soil of nourishment provided by distractions and keeps rising up till we hang on to the spiritual path, hang on to contemplative practices, hang on to be the observer of the play of the mind so that we can release ourselves from these forces, so that we can find the trick. Just like Kali found the trick that you have to catch the blood drops before they hit the soil. We have to catch that tendency of the mind to be distracted before it takes root. So I wanted to share the story with you. Yeah, thank you. We'll close with a little song to Durga now. Just follow me. It's just very simple. It says Durge, Durge, Jai Jai Ma. So Jai means victory, victory to the mother, Ma. Durge, she who is our fortress, our shield, going back to the shield within us. Jai, victory to her, victory to us, victory to our shining journey. Durge, 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 Jai Jai Ma. 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 Durge, Jai Jai Ma. Durge, Jai Jai Ma. Jai Ma, 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 Jai Ma. Ma, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Victory to the goddess journey within us. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. I wish you all many, many blessings. And as we take the sweetness of the wisdom of the goddess epic, these chants, the mantras, the mudras, and cherish our whole being and know that we are one with all that is consciousness manifesting everywhere. Just like we call on her, that goddess which is established in all life, we are calling on our own goddess presence, the activating power of consciousness in all forms. Let's just be silent for the last couple of moments as we savor the grace, savor this inspiration, infuse it into our being. With every inhalation, we are bringing the creation energy. And with every pause, that is the preservation energy. And with every exhalation, that is the dissolution energy. And then the pause, which again is the preservation. So creation, inhale, pause, preserve, exhaling breath, dissolution. So creation, preservation, dissolution. With every breath, we can access these teachings. And with our own fingers, we can access the energetic power of the 5 elements, which can be activated. And with the heart shield, we can access the power to protect ourselves from negative forces and to activate within us the power of action. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Thank you all for being here. And the many blessings for all of us. Yeah, let's show our hand mudra. Very nice. Beautiful.